It's finally here. You can now get to max level entirely by yourself. Hey there humans, Bob here with another Marvel Avengers video, and this is possibly one of the best videos I'll ever make for the game, as you can finally level up to 185 without any help from other players or setting foot in a single OLT or raid. Before we get into it though, I want to talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, World Eternal Online. World Eternal Online is a player-driven sandbox MMO featuring massive raid boss battles, guilds and territorial PvP, all free to play with no pay to win. And it's currently in alpha right now, so you can dive in today and try the game out for yourself using the links in the description below. Before we start with the method though, I want to make sure that I make it abundantly clear that this isn't an insanely fast way of leveling up. You will still need to put in the effort to get the gear needed to level up your characters. And whilst this is one hell of a shortcut, it's not going to be something you can get done in 10 minutes. The good news, however, is that a lot of this method will increase the power level of all your characters at once. This way you can play as the characters you most enjoy and still boost the others. So, what is this method? If you've seen some of my previous videos, you may have heard about time traveling. All that you need to do to time travel is change the date and time on your PC or console and load back into the game. This has been made possible thanks to the recent 2.8 update that decoupled a lot of the things in the game from having to have an internet connection to access them. Since doing this, people have been able to swap between the fortnightly events and complete their objectives and target the gear available in those events whenever they like. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. Bear in mind that this guide is specifically focused on upgrading your gear past 150, and whilst you can now get from 150 to 185 solo, the 2.8 update has made it even harder to get from 1 to 150. If you are looking to get from 1 to 150, I do have a couple of guides on the channel, so make sure to check out those videos, links in the description down below. But as mentioned before, with the latest update, those methods have become increasingly inconsistent. So if I find another method that's better, I'll make sure to upload a video about that, so make sure that you're subscribed and you've got those noties on too. With this method though, there are two phases, and you will need to switch between each of them as you go to make sure that you're leveling up as fast as possible. Step 1 is going to be completing the Red Room event. For those of you that don't know, the Red Room event is the only event that is completable entirely solo. Whilst the gear that you get from it isn't particularly great, you will get superior gear upon completion of the major objective mission chain. The Red Room Takeover objective mission chain requires you to complete 5 Red Room event assignments, defeat 850 enemies of any kind, knock 350 enemies into the Techno Lava, collect 800 memory fragments, and complete each of the Red Room challenges at least once. Whilst the whole event can be done in a couple of hours, there are a couple of objectives that can take a little while to complete, especially knocking the enemies into Techno Lava and collecting memory fragments. For knocking enemies into the Techno Lava, the best tip I have for you is to use either Kamala or Hulk to grab your enemies, then throw them directly into the lava, or use Iron Man's charged repulsor attack to push them into it as well. When it comes to the memory fragments objective, the third Red Room challenge will likely provide the most amount of fragments in the quickest way possible, so spam that particular mission if you want to pick up fragments quickly. Sometimes on this challenge, enemies spawn a little slowly, so if you get a bit impatient and you're on the next gen console or have a really fast PC, you can defeat the first group of enemies, then jump into the Techno Lava yourself to restart the mission. It might not always work, but it might be worth a try if you're struggling for time. Overall, once you've completed the event, you'll be awarded with superior gear for every hero that is above PL 120. But again, I recommend you have everyone at 150 before trying this method, as it will give you the most benefit. If the event you're currently on isn't the Red Room event, then make sure to switch over to it by changing your PC or console's date and time to line up with the Red Room Takeover event. Here is the order of the events to help you out, but essentially all you need to do is find a date within the 2-week time slot the event will fall on. Once you've done that, boot up the game again and you should see the event you're targeting in your objectives menu. Once you've completed this event, you then need to move on to the next one to be able to increase the power level on your ISOs, as the Red Room does not drop any. But I've got some great news for you, as the Corrupted Vibranium event, which you should be able to access using the same method as you did with the Red Room, now drops superior ISOs on completion of Corrupted Vibranium threat sectors. Basically what that means is you can increase your power levels on your ISOs extremely quickly. In order to do this in the most efficient way, head to the war table, go to the Wakanda region, and select the Corrupted Vibranium Here Comes the Pain mission. Fire up the mission and speedrun it by just focusing on the objectives, and upon completion, you'll be awarded with a superior ISO. The difference in this method compared to the Red Room event is the fact that you will need to run this with each character, so you will have to play as characters that you may not enjoy as much if you do want to level them up. At this point, you can literally farm these missions for ISOs up to 175 and then reset your device's internal clock to find the Red Room again. One thing I'm unsure of though is whether you're able to complete the event objectives and then reset the date to the same instance of the event to reset the objectives. What this means is you may end up having to jump to the following Red Room event each time you complete it. These time jumps will need to be around about 10 weeks each time, as that's how long it takes for each event to roll around again. Keep doing this until all of your gear is at 175 and you're done. Also, since this kind of leveling up doesn't actually give you a good build, it just increases your power level, make sure to check out my Prime and solo player builds, remember to like and subscribe, and as always, stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.